Hey folks, so another week, another product rant. Imagine last week I spent a good 5 hours on live support chats with two lovely people. Nevertheless, we were talking about the things that, again, should have been a tooltip. And I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but since recently we covered customer effort score in one of our blog articles, I thought I will mention, what is the overall impact of these unnecessary interactions on user experience, product experience, customer effort, and how that translates into retention in the long term, and what you could do very easily to prevent such situations that your customer has to bug your customer support unnecessarily for several hours in the same week. So I was using two new tools that I bought at the end of last year, one for on-demand webinars, one for like account-based marketing outreach. And they were both great, in fact. In terms of functionality, that's why I bought them, because I was totally sold on what these tools were doing. The problem was that, getting there as a first-time user wasn't that smooth. Right. One of the tools, the ABM one, decided to build an 11-step product tour with intercom. I was dead sure it was an intercom because they all look the same fonts, kind of same buttons, same workflow. And they put in videos inside these modals in the product tour. And, these videos were kind of generically walking me through the main functionality of the product, which was cool, right? But it still didn't answer my specific, use case related questions when they appeared. So at some point I got stuck. Like, it looked to me that the campaigns I created weren't running. In fact, they were running, but I just had to be patient and I had to wait until, the contacts drip into the campaigns. But how could I know that? Like, how could I know that this was working properly if I didn't get any notification, if there wasn't like any kind of tooltip that would, inform me about this? So, of course, I went to ask the customer support agent on the live chat about it. The same happened when I was writing an email, and there were these like, variable fields in the email, but there were two different variable fields for the subject line and for the email body. And the one for the email body was like hidden below the fold. So I had to scroll down to see it. So of course I didn't see it. And again, I went back to support, and like, these are just two examples off the top of my head. But overall, even though the tools they were working, they were doing what they were supposed to be doing, but I just like didn't know about these little things. So I kept going back to support, and it was overall horribly frustrating for me, probably for them as well, because I bet they are getting the same kind of questions over and over. Sometimes they responded in a way that suggested that they were like, "Oh, that again, right?" Yeah, we have a lot of people asking about it, which was reassuring that it's not just that I'm blonde, but it's also that, it's a common UX problem. So my question, product managers at these two companies, if you're listening to me, I'm not going to mention the company names because I don't want to, sound like I'm trashing someone. But why don't you go through your support chats, right? Like every week or every month. I understand you're busy, and just fish for these common recurring themes. Like probably most support tools, I guess Zendesk, Zoho, Freshworks, Intercom probably as well, they would like group these common problems, common themes, and you could easily see where you could probably resolve these problems reactively by putting a tooltip in there, or a little reactive mode, or in response to a custom event that your user has performed, informing them about what is supposed to happen next, right? If it's not, obvious from your product, or if you see them rage clicking or whatever. So this is a simple hack that you can use if you don't have a lot of time to analyze your data, because I guess this is the biggest problem, that you are busy doing discovery calls, building features, making sure your developers ship them if you don't have like a separate product owner role. I get that. I get that there is very little time for improving actually product like growth metrics, but having a very high customer effort score, I mean, high in terms of like there is a high effort required, because that's not quite how the customer effort score is calculated. And if you want to read more about it and how to improve it, like click on the link below in the button. Um, if you have if using your tool requires high effort, your customers are 96% more likely to be disloyal. So to talk about how difficult and annoying and frustrating and bad their experience with your product was, instead of how helpful your product actually is, in terms of the product features, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, right? So I'm kind of proving my own point here. But anyway, so guys, if you want to improve your customer effort score, um, my easiest life hack to do that would be to go through your support logs, fish out the common themes, and start from the low-hanging fruits. Just put in some native tooltips. It doesn't even have to be a reactive modal that responds to a custom event, because these are a bit more difficult. But just native tooltips for starters. That would help me so much more than like going through an 11-step product tour with 5-minute long videos in it that don't correspond to my specific use case. Okay, and that's the end of the rant today. I'm hoping I will see less of these bad onboarding UX UI patterns. Well, we listed some examples of bad UX. I included them in the blog, and they are in this newsletter more towards the end as well. So if you're interested, go check them out. And I will see you next week, hopefully with a more positive message. Right. Anyway, bye bye.